Hello and welcome to Breakout session number 26. Can you believe it? We're calling this one Seeing Stars. So stick around to find out what the heck I'm talking about. But first I want to say hi to all the members of the Guitar League out there, as I usually do, and hope everybody's good out there. And I ask, if you haven't already, if you would please subscribe to my channel, hit the little bell, and we can notify you when a new breakout session or whatever I'm putting up there comes out. And if you like these, go ahead and hit the like button or add any positive comments that you might have or questions. So what I'm talking about today is another breakthrough that I've made in my personal journey on guitar stuff. I was working on some arpeggios and I was practicing away, and I was practicing arpeggios using different chord shapes rather than scale patterns. And so I was writing down what I was doing, and I was actually doing like C-shaped arpeggio to a D-shaped arpeggio, and etc. And all of a sudden I started, in my scribbling, I started seeing something, and I go, wow, that looks like a constellation of stars or something. That could be like the Big Dipper, you know? So then I started seeing stars all over the fretboard. So I go, wait, this could be a good visual aid to teach or to remember arpeggios. So, you know, I'm a big proponent of angles and shapes and stuff. We talked about triangles and rectangles, and we talked about 90-degree and 45-degree angles. And because I'm kind of a visual type guy, and also been, people say that I might be a little spacey, so this fits right in with this star thing. So what I want to do today is show you a simple pattern or a different way of looking at the fretboard that I think can really help you. I'm going to have some printouts of what I'm talking about down in the description so you can see what the heck I'm talking about. I'm going to try to keep it as short as I can today because it's like a whole new way of thinking. Okay? So, in that constellation that we started with, the one that looks like the Big Dipper, we're going to say, you know, in the Big Dipper, the North Star is the top of the Big Dipper. So, in this case, we're going to think of it as like the root of this arpeggio. And these pictures on the fretboard that I'm showing you, they're not chord charts. They're individual note charts from chords. So I don't want you to think, oh, how could I play that? Because you can't. Okay, but it's an arpeggio. Okay, and these first ones I'm going to show you are the 1, 3, 5, and 7 of different chords. Okay, and a way to think about it. And this, the other beauty of this shape stuff, this star-shaped stuff, is it's movable. So let's go up onto the, because it's a little easier to see, I think, and the printouts will reflect this. Let's go up to the D note on the 5th string and start there. And we'll call that our, that's our root note. The roots are going to be on the 5th string here. That's our root note and the North Star. So if we went down that little dipper or pattern, so this is the 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, 5. Here's the 7. So let's do it this way. 1, 3, 5, 7. So this is a D major arpeggio. There's a C, if you could see that. There's a C chord like. So that's the C-shaped D arpeggio. Okay, and then the D-shaped arpeggio would be, you know, right down here. And the D7 is there. So to get all of those, what we're using, we're going from a C-shaped D arpeggio to a D-shaped D arpeggio, and there's a D7 arpeggio here too. So that's how we get that whole look of the dipper. But I'll call out just the notes here. So there's 3 notes in a major chord, as we know, okay? So in this case, we're in D. So there's a D, an F sharp, and an A make up a D major arpeggio. A D7, you would add a C note. So you would have a D, an F sharp, an A, and a D. And that would be a D7 arpeggio. Okay, so that shape that I'm showing you, here's a D, F sharp, A, D, F sharp, and there's a C back here. So you could take it out too. You could go D, F sharp, A, D, F sharp, A, D, C, which would be the 7th. Or you can also do this other little star-shaped thing, little triangle here, where you've got just the D, an F sharp, and a C to give you a D7 sound. D7, D7. Okay, so from that little shape, I can play D7 or a D arpeggio or a D7 arpeggio. Okay? So as you know, in the arpeggio, we're playing individual notes. So while somebody's playing a D, or while there's a D going on, you can do the arpeggio thing, including over a D7. Okay? So if you took your whole Big Dipper and moved it up a couple of frets, that would be an E. So you could do that same shape to have a C-shaped E arpeggio or a C-shaped E7 arpeggio. Okay? Now, I know we're going from a C shape, we're starting in the C shape, and we're going to a D shape. I get that, but we're not playing chords. Just think of it as that shape that I'm showing you. Hopefully it's around here somewhere, that dipper shape. Okay, so that's an E. Now obviously you would, if you were playing over a 1-4-5 blues progression, you would want to stay close in the same area. That's another class I want to talk about that, how we can stay within 4 frets and play all the chords in a song without going out of that little area. But just to show you this movable thing, so if we were in D, following over a 1-4-5 progression in D, and we used our little dipper kind of a feel over the D, then we could come up to the G to play over the G or the G7. And then if we get to the 5 chord, the A, you can just, that is a movable shape is what I'm trying to say. And it helped me visualize that change. I mean, we'd been working on, D arpeggios from a scale shape before, and all the different scale shapes. We were working on that in breakout session number I got it down here somewhere, number 7, and I'll put a link to that too. So that's the beginning of working chord tones. Okay, that's what we're playing here is chord tones over the changes. Okay, so with the arpeggios. And then you can, when you get fancy, you can mix in the different scales and stuff. But today we're just talking about that new shape and the movability of it. You can move it all over the place. You can actually go up a little bit to the next string, but I don't want to confuse the issue. So I just wanted to show you that new shape today. And then as I said, I started putting these little stars on a fretboard chart, and all of a sudden I saw a whole lot of other, they're probably not really constellations, but I see other shapes there coming out in the stars that help me remember things, So like the D7s and stuff, I can find them now. I can find them easier around the fretboard. By looking at those shapes. So I don't know, it might be a little spacey, but hopefully you can see that shape and just take it for what it is. I'm just trying to show you a new visual aid that's helping me learn arpeggios between the C-shaped arpeggios to the D-shaped arpeggios in different scales, in different keys. Okay, so hopefully this helps. And I hope you'll come back to the next breakout session and don't think this one's too crazy, that you just get the visual aid. I know there's a lot of visual type people out there because I've got a lot of messages in the past that people say that, oh, thanks, that helps me see it better. And that's what I'm trying to do is get you to see the fretboard better. Plus, one other quick tip. While you're doing this shape, call out the notes of that chord at the same time, and it helps you, learn what the arpeggio is and where it is on the fretboard. Okay, so we'll see you in the next breakout session. Talk to you later.